Very good evening, all the participants. Today, we will see some of the provisions regarding information utility. And if time permits, then we'll go on to IPAs and IPEs also. But we'll start with information utility. So, can anybody tell me where is the first reference to this information utilities in our code? First reference.
Section 17.
I think section 3.
Section 3 definitions में है ना?
Definitions.
Right. So section 3, if we see, I think we can first of all see the definition as per section 3 subsection 9. Right. So let me share. I hope my screen is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So section 3 subsection 9. Roop Kiranji, please read this definition.
Core services.
Yes.
Core services means services rendered by an information utility
Hmm.
for A. Accepting electronic submission of financial information in such form and manner as may be specified.
Hmm.
Safe and accurate recording of financial information.
Hmm.
Authenticating and verifying the financial information submitted by a person.
Hmm.
And providing access to information stored with the information utility to persons as may be specified.
So actually now it is referring to specified. So that means there are regulations also. So we'll see the information utility regulations also. But what we gather from this definition is that certain core services are rendered. And these core services may be accepting, safe and accurate recording, authenticating and verifying, providing access to information, etc. Right? Next reference to information utility is in section 13. This section 3, subsection 13. Financial information. Please read this.
Financial information in relation to a person means one or more of the following categories of information. Records of the debt of the person. Records of liabilities when the person is solvent. Records of assets of person over which security interest has been created. Records, if any, of instances of default by the person against any debt. Records of the balance sheet and cash flow statements of the person. And such other information as may be specified.
Right. So this also, financial information also, it takes us to regulations. And we have to see regulation number 23 of
23.
information utility regulations for this. Right. So regulation number 23. And if we see regulation number 23, so okay, we'll go to it later. Next in line is section 3, subsection 21. So please read this also. Section 3, subsection 21.
Information utility means a person who is registered with the board under section 201, under section 210.
Right. So whether there could be more than one information utility?
Yes, sir, it can be. But now
Right.
there is only
So
one.
whosoever is registered. But as of now, there is only one.
Only one. Yes.
Right. Next reference will be in section 3, subsection 31. Indirect reference is there. So section 3, subsection 31. What it says?
सर अभी आपने कौन सा सेक्शन देखा है इसके बाद 13 के बाद सेक्शन 3 सबसेक्शन 13 आपने बोला ना?
हाँ हाँ,
उसके बाद एक और आपने कवर किया ना, वो एक बार बता दें, मिस हो गया।
13 बोला ना, 13 के बाद तो
13
कुछ
के
नहीं।
बाद हाँ वही है।
वही है, ठीक।
हाँ हाँ, 13 के बाद
21 फिर 31 है ना?
हाँ 21 और अब 21 तो हमने पढ़ लिया, अब 31 तो मिस क्यों हो जाता बीच में? 31 सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट।
Security interest means interest or a claim to property created in favor of or provided for a secured creditor which secures payment or performance of an obligation and includes mortgage, charge, hypothecation, assignment and encumbrance agreement, or arrangement securing payment or performance of any obligation of any person.
यस, अभी थोड़ा सा और रह गया ना, ये लास्ट में, ये आपका हो गया, प्रोवाइडेड दैट.
Provided that security interest shall not include a performance guarantee.
So, if you want to check the security interest, then also it has to be verified from the records of information utility.
Yes.
Although there are other sources also like SASAI and MCA. And specified means specified by regulation. So, time and again we have seen the word specified. So, this is the reference in various sections. Now, let us go to.
सिबिल से भी कर सकते क्या सर? सिबिल स्कोर जो आता है
नहीं,
उसमें?
सिबिल से तो नहीं होगा, सिबिल से तो चेक नहीं होगा सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट.
अच्छा.
CIBIL is a result actually. CIBIL is basically credit rating of an individual. तो अब इसके बाद में देखें सेक्शन नंबर 7. ठीक है, तो सेक्शन 7 में भी कुछ रेफरेंस आता है इसका. क्या कहता है सेक्शन में 7 में? ये but while applying also you can produce the information which is available with information utility. So section 7, section 9, section 10 and
Yes,
the
sir.
related regulations, they also contain reference to information utilities, right? Then let us see section 17. So section 17, if we see, management of affairs of corporate debtor. So what he will do? He will seek information, right?
Yes.
He has the authority to access the books of accounts.
Yes, sir.
So section 17 also contains a reference.
Hmm.
Have the authority to access the books of account, records and other relevant documents of corporate debtor available with government authorities, statutory auditors, accountants and such other persons as may be specified. Because whenever you seek information from any agency, you have to cite the relevant section also. So that is equally important.
Hmm.
So whenever you will write to information utility, although it may be in electronic form only, but still you will cite the relevant section, the relevant regulation whereby you are authorized, right? Now section 18. So section 18 also talks of collection of information regarding such other matters as may be specified. So we see that reference is there in various sections. Now let us directly move to the regulations, information utility regulations. But before that, we can have a reference to section also, है ना? So the related section
सर सेक्शन 209 onwards है.
right, section 209, very correct. So section 209, what it says? No person to function as information utility without certificate of registration. So please read, huh? Roop Kiran ji.
No person to function as information utility without certificate of registration,
Right.
save as otherwise provided in this code. No person shall carry on its business as information utility under this code without a certificate of registration issued in that behalf by the board.
Now 2110,
Section,
210.
Section
Yes.
210.
Hmm.
Registration of information utility. Regulations 1, 2, and 3. Every application for registration shall be made to the board in such form and manner, uh, particulars, and accompanied by such fee as may be specified by regulation number 4. Provided that every application received by the board shall be acknowledged within 7 days of receipt. On receipt of the application under subsection 1, the board may, on being satisfied that the application conforms to all requirements specified under subsection 1, grant a certificate of registration to the information utility, else reject by order such application.
Okay. So I think now let us move to regulations. है ना?
Yes, sir.
So let us move to regulation 1 and 2. This is regulation 1 and 2. So we can read up to regulation number 4. So these are the information utilities regulations. One is not of much, one में तो कुछ खास है नहीं. Now let us see 2. है ना? Application programming interface. So what is this?
Means a mechanism that allows a system or service to access data or functionality provided by another system or service.
Right. So basically, because different users will be accessing this in a different way, and they may be having different systems. So there should be application programming interface, right? There
Yes,
should be a mechanism that allows a system or service to access data or functionality provided by another system or service, right? Yes. Board,
Board
self-explanatory.
means IBBI.
Certificate of registration.
Certificate of registration means a certificate of registration granted or renewed by the board under section 210, read with these regulations and the terms registration
Okay.
and
So
renewal
now
shall be
let us try
considered.
to find out what is the form number for this. Any form number for this? First of all, let us see the eligibility. Eligibility is given in who is eligible for registration. Yes.
No person shall be eligible to be registered as an information utility unless it is a public company.
Right. So the first important point to note here is that an information utility has to be a public company. It cannot be a private company. Number one.
It can
Whereas an
be
IPA has to be a Section 8 company.
Section 8 company also, no, sir?
Which one?
Section 8 company.
No, it has to be a public company.
Okay, sir.
It has to be a public company because Section 8 is restrictive in nature. Whereas this public company is more liberal.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Its sole object is to provide core services and other services.
So
under
core
these
services we have
regulations.
already seen. The
Yes, sir.
definition of core services we have already seen in Section 3, subsection 9.
Yes, sir.
पढ़ा ना अभी हमने?
हाँ, sir.
हाँ.
Its shareholding and governance is in accordance with Chapter 3. Its bylaws are in accordance with Chapter 4. It has a minimum net worth of 50 crore rupees.
Right. So they may ask a question on net worth.
The person itself, its promoters, its directors, its key managerial personnel, and persons holding more than 5% directly or indirectly of its paid up equity share capital or its total voting power are fit and proper persons. Explanation. For determining whether a person is fit and proper under these regulations, the board may take account of relevant considerations, including integrity, reputation, and character, absence of conviction by a court for an offense.
Yes.
Provided that a person may be considered fit and proper if he has been sentenced to imprisonment for a period of less than 6 months.
Right. So, important criteria. If conviction has been for a period of less than 6 months, he may be considered. Right?
ये आईपी को भी सेम कॉमन ही है ना सर?
हाँ.
Provided that a person shall not be considered.
लेकिन उसमें वो थोड़ा सा मॉरल टर्पिट्यूड आ गया क्योंकि इंडिविजुअल है ना वहां पर.
हाँ सर.
हाँ. और
provided
टर्कीट्यूड में 6 months वाला क्राइटेरिया भी नहीं है.
Hmm. Provided that a person shall not be considered fit and proper if he has been sentenced to imprisonment for a period of not less than 6 months but less than 7 years, and a period of 5 years has not elapsed from the date of expiry of the sentence or of 7 years or more.
Right. So, if it is between 6 months to 7 years, then if 5 years has elapsed, then he is eligible.
Yes, sir.
Right. But if the sentence is for 7 years or more, then he is never eligible.
Permanently ineligible.
Yes, yes. So this is the meaning. And we have to see this ineligibility along with the ineligibility which is there for insolvency professionals. Right?
Hmm.
So we have
Yes,
to
sir.
compare because there is a difference.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Absence of restraint order in force issued by a financial sector regulator or the adjudicating authority and financial solvency.
Right. Now application.
Application for registration or renewal thereof. A person eligible for registration as an information utility may make an application to the board in Form A of the schedule, along with a non-refundable application fee of rupees 10 lakhs.
So here it is important to see that this is application fees.
Yes, sir.
This is not registration fees.
Yes, sir.
Registration fees is different. This is application fees. And
Yes,
this
sir.
is also non-refundable. Suppose
Yes,
you
sir.
apply and you don't get, then this is gone. So in a
Yes,
way
sir.
it is processing charges.
Yes, sir. An information utility seeking renewal of registration shall, at least 6 months before the expiry of its registration, make an application for renewal in Form A of the schedule, along with non-refundable application fee of rupees 10 lakhs.
Right. So Form A is there both for initial registration as
And
well as
renewal.
for renewal.
Yes, sir.
Right.
The board shall acknowledge an application made under this regulation within 7 days of its receipt.
Right. Now disposal.
Disposal of application. The board shall examine the application and give an opportunity to the applicant to remove the deficiencies, if any, in the application. The board may require the applicant to submit within reasonable time additional documents or clarification that it deems fit. The board may require the applicant to appear within reasonable time before the board in person or through its authorized representative for clarifications required for processing the application. If the board is satisfied after such inspection or inquiry as it deems necessary that the applicant is eligible under Regulation 3, has the technical competence and financial capacity required to function as an information utility, has adequate infrastructure to provide services in accordance with the code, has in its employment persons having adequate professional and other relevant experience to provide services in accordance with the code, and has complied with the conditions of the certificate of registration if he has submitted an application for renewal under Regulation 4, Sub-Regulation 2. It may grant or renew a certificate of registration to the applicant as an information utility in Form B of the schedule within 60 days of receipt of the application, excluding the time given by the board for removing the deficiencies or presenting additional documents or clarifications or appearing in person as the case may be. If after considering an application made under Regulation 4, the board is of the prima facie opinion that the registration ought not to be granted or ought not to be renewed or be granted or renewed with additional conditions, it shall communicate the reasons for forming such an opinion within 45 days of receipt of the application, excluding the time given by the board for removing the deficiencies, presenting additional documents or clarifications, or appearing in person as the case may be.
Right. So they may ask a question whether the registration can be granted or renewed with additional conditions.
Yes.
So the answer will be yes. So board may put additional conditions also.
Yes.
Right.
The applicant shall submit an explanation as to why its application should be accepted within 15 days of the receipt of the communication under sub-regulation 5 to enable the board to form a final opinion.
So 45 days for communication, 15
And
days to revert.
After considering the application, if any, given by the applicant under sub-regulation 6, the board shall communicate its decision to accept the application along with the certificate of registration or reject the application by an order giving reasons thereof within 30 days of receipt of explanation. The order rejecting an application for renewal of registration shall require the information utility to discharge any pending obligations.
Right. So there could be a case where registration was granted, but when they applied for renewal, it was rejected. So naturally, they have to complete whatever are the unfulfilled
Renewals.
functions. Yes.
Continue its functions till such time as may be directed to enable its users to transfer information stored with it to another information utility and comply with any other directions as considered appropriate.
Right. So suppose an information utility has applied for registration and some additional information is required. So within how many days the board should ask the applicant?
45 days.
45 days. And within how much period the applicant has to revert?
15 days.
And then how many more days are required to dispose of the application?
30 days.
30 days, right. Next, conditions of registration.
Conditions of registration.
Hmm.
The certificate of registration shall be valid for a period of 5 years from the date of issue. The certificate of registration shall be subject to the conditions that the information utility shall abide by the code, abide by its bylaws at all times after the grant of the certificate, continue to satisfy the requirements under Regulation 5, Sub-Regulation 4. Pay a fee of 1 crore rupees to the board within 15 days of receipt of intimation of registration or renewal from the board as applicable.
So this 1 crore is the registration fees.
Yes.
That 10 lakh is the application fees.
Yes, sir.
And for how much period this is valid? This 1
5
crore?
years. 5 years.
5 years. Right.
And again after 5 years they have to pay again fee, na, sir?
Right. Very correct.
Yes, sir.
Because registration may not be granted.
Yes, sir.
For renewal also they have to apply.
Yes, sir. Pay to the board a fee calculated at the rate of 10% of the turnover from the services as an information utility rendered in the preceding financial year on or before 30th April every year.
Right. So this is 10% of the
10%.
turnover. In case of IP, it is how much
1%.
percentage of the turnover?
1%.
Yes.
Provided that without prejudice to any other action which the board may take as it deems fit, any delay in payment of fee by an information utility shall attract simple interest at the rate of 12% per annum.
Right.
12% charge करता है sir. Illustration. Where an information utility generates turnover amounting rupees 75 crores in the financial year 2022-23, it is liable to pay fee of rupees 7.50 crore to the board on or before 30th April 2023.
Whether the turnover has been defined in IBC? The answer is no. Turnover is defined in Companies Act.
Companies Act.
Yes.
Seek prior approval of the
And
board.
whether it is on accrual basis or it is on receipt basis?
Receipt basis.
No, it is on accrual basis.
Accrual. Accrual में
Because
तो
you
क्या
have
है
to go
नहीं
as
ना
per the
sir?
accounting standards. And accounting standards say the companies have to follow accrual system.
अच्छा.
It has to be a public company.
हम्म.
And in case of public company, you cannot say that we are accounting on receipt basis.
Okay, okay. Sir. Seek prior approval of the board for the acquisition of shares or voting power by a person, which taken together with paid up equity shares or voting power, if any, held by such person, entitles him to hold more than 5% directly or indirectly of the paid up equity share capital or total voting power. A change of control. a merger, amalgamation, or restructuring, sale, disposal, or acquisition of the whole or substantially the whole of its undertaking.
So these
Voluntary
are major
liquid.
actions for which an information utility is required to obtain prior approval of the board.
Achha. Voluntary liquidation, dissolution, or any similar action involving the discontinuation of its business. Intimate the board if a person holding more than 5% directly or indirectly of its paid up equity share capital or total voting power ceases to hold at least 5% directly or indirectly of its paid up equity share capital or total voting power within 15 days from such cessation.
So if a person ceases to hold,
Less than 5%.
right, at least 5%, then also they have to
उसका
inform.
उसका स्टेटस चेंज हो जाएगा ना सर.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
Take adequate steps for redressal of grievances. Take over information stored with other information utilities on the directions of and in the manner directed by the board and provide core services to their users and abide by such other conditions as may be stipulated by the board.
Right. Next is in principle approval.
Yes, sir.
So there could be a case where you apply first for in principle approval because registration requires lot of formalities, है ना? So it
Yes.
requires this net worth requirement also, है ना? Yes, you have
Solvency.
to employ people also. So you may like to apply in principle.
Yes, sir. Any person who seeks to establish an information utility may make an application for an in-principle approval demonstrating that the conditions in sub-regulation 2 are satisfied, along with a non-refundable application fee of rupees 5 lakhs. तो उधर 10 lakhs है, इधर 5 lakhs होगा ऐसे. If the board is satisfied after such inspection or inquiry, as it deems necessary, that the applicant is a fit and proper person, and the proposed or existing company which may receive registration would be able to meet the eligibility criteria under Regulation 3. It may grant in principle approval which shall be valid for a period not exceeding 1 year and be subject to such conditions as it deems fit. 1 year है सर इसका पीरियड.
हाँ 1 year. हाँ जी.
और वो 5 years.
ये तो इन प्रिंसिपल अप्रूवल का ना, मतलब विद इन
हाँ.
1 year they have to apply for
Yes,
registration.
sir. Yes. During the validity of in-principle approval, the company referred to in sub-regulation 2B may make an application for a certificate of registration as an information utility to the board in accordance with regulation 4, but shall not be required to pay the application fee for registration.
तो इसका मतलब इसका 5 लाख में ही काम हो जाएगा.
हाँ, वही. Chapter 3, Shareholding and Governance. Shareholding. No person shall at any time, directly or indirectly, either by itself or together with persons acting in concert, acquire or hold more than 10% of the paid up equity share capital or total voting power of an information utility. Provided that the following persons may directly or indirectly, either by themselves or together in concert, acquire or hold up to 25% of the paid up equity share capital or total voting power of an information utility. Government company, stock exchange, depository, bank, insurance company and public financial institution. ये सब 25% रख सकते हैं. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in subregulation 1, a person may directly or indirectly, either by itself or together with persons acting in concert, hold up to 51% of the paid up equity share capital or total voting power of an information utility up to 3 years from the date of its registration. और
यहाँ पर क्या है भाई, एक के पास 51% भी हो सकता है.
1%. हाँ सर, 3 years तक.
बाद
An
में कम
Indian,
कर देगा ना, वो बाद में कम कर देगा, अपना बेच देगा शेयर.
हाँ सर. An Indian company which is listed on a recognized stock exchange in India or where no individual directly or indirectly, either by himself or together with persons acting in concert holding more than 10% of the paid up equity share capital may hold up to 100% of the paid up equity share capital or total voting power of an information utility up to 3 years from the date of its registration.
तो पर्सन के लिए दे दिया 51% और कंपनी के लिए दे दिया, लिस्टेड कंपनी के लिए 100%.
100%. Provided that the information utility is registered before 30th September 2018.
वो सब तो खत्म हो गया पीरियड.
हाँ वही तो सर. The provisions of this regulation shall not apply to the holding of shares or voting power by the central government or a state government.
तो सेंट्रल स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में 100% भी हो सकती है. ये जो 25% ये सब अप्लाई नहीं होगा उस पर.
हाँ सर.
यस. कंपोजिशन
Composition of the governing board. The governing board shall consist of managing director, independent directors, and shareholder directors.
एक मिनट. हाँ जी.
Shareholder directors, provided that more than half of the directors shall be citizens of India and shall be residents in India.
ये कंडीशन है.
The managing director shall not be considered either an independent director or a shareholder director.
भाई अलग अलग है ना. आपको मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर क्या क्या रखने हैं इसमें? एक तो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, फिर इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स रखने हैं और शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर्स रखने हैं. तो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर ना इंडिपेंडेंट में आएगा ना शेयर होल्डर में आएगा.
हाँ सर. Any employee of an information utility may be appointed as a director on its governing board in addition to the managing director, but such director shall be deemed to be a shareholder director.
तो वो जो है वो इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर में नहीं आएगा. एम्प्लॉय जो है ना, एम्प्लॉय क्या होगा? वो शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर है. अब इसका ये भी मतलब हो सकता है, क्या एम्प्लॉय मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर हो सकता है? द आंसर इज नो.
नो.
है ना. एम्प्लॉय सिर्फ शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर हो सकता है. हाँ जी.
The number of independent directors shall not be less than the number of shareholder directors. Provided that no meeting of the governing board shall be held without the presence of at least one independent
इसका मतलब ये है शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर और इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर इक्वल हो सकते हैं. है ना. लेकिन इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर कम नहीं होंगे शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर से. ऐसा हो सकता है दोनों 5-5 हो जाए, लेकिन इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर कम नहीं होंगे शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर से. मान लीजिए सपोज देयर आर 5 शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर्स, तो इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर विल शैल बी 5 और मोर. हाँ जी.
An independent director shall be an individual who is a person of ability and integrity, who has expertise in the field of finance, law, management, or insolvency, who is not a relative of the directors of the governing board, who has or had no pecuniary relationship with the information utility or any of its directors or any of its shareholders holding more than 10% of its share capital during the immediately preceding 2 financial years or during the current financial year, who is not a shareholder of the information utility and who is not a member of the board of directors of any of the shareholders holding more than 10% of the share capital of the information utility.
हाँ, क्या हो सकता है भाई? शेयर होल्डर जो इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी है उसके शेयर होल्डर तो कंपनी भी हो सकती है ना.
हाँ सर.
तो अगर मान लीजिए इफ वन ऑफ द शेयर होल्डर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी इज ए कंपनी एंड दिस पर्सन इज ऑन द बोर्ड ऑफ दैट कंपनी, देन ही कैन नॉट बी काउंटेड एज इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर. फिर इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर अपॉइंट नहीं हो सकता वो.
इसलिए कैप लगाए सर उसको, नॉट मोर देन 10%. और ये सेक्शन 149 ऑफ कंपनीज एक्ट के जैसा ही है सर, ये इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. हाँ जी.
एंड इंडिपेंडेंट
वही है,
डायरेक्टर.
डेफिनेशन तो वही है, यहाँ कुछ डेफिनेशन नहीं है.
हाँ हाँ. जो लिखा हुआ ये 5 में ABCDEF तक है ना, ये पूरे सेक्शन 149 में है.
राइट.
An independent director shall be nominated by the board from amongst the list of names proposed by the information utility. An individual may serve as an independent director for a maximum of 2 terms of 3 years each or part thereof, or up to the age of 75 years, whichever is earlier. The second term referred to in subregulation 7 may be subject to a satisfactory performance review of the first term by the governing board. A cooling off period of 3 years shall be applicable for an independent director to become a shareholder director in the same or another information utility.
तो क्या
The
है
di-
कि अगर इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर है एक कंपनी में, वहां से रिजाइन कर दिया,
हाँ,
अब दूसरी कंपनी में वो शेयर होल्डर डायरेक्टर बनना चाह रहा है
तो
उसी में
3 साल
या
रहने।
दूसरी में, तो फिर कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड है 3 इयर्स का.
Yes. The director shall elect an independent director as the chairperson of the governing board. A director who has any interest, direct or indirect, pecuniary or otherwise, in any matter coming up for consideration at a meeting of the governing board or any of its committees, shall, as soon as possible after relevant circumstances have come to his knowledge, disclose the nature of his interest at such meeting, and such disclosure shall be recorded in the proceedings of the governing board of the committee, as the case may be, and the director shall not take part in any deliberation or decision of the governing board or the committee with respect to that matter.
Right.
9A, Managing Director.
Because a person may be director in more than one companies.
Sir.
So suppose there is a director of the information utility and he is a director in some other company also,
Yes,
because
sir.
there is no bar as such. So, and that company is into CIRP or some matter pertaining to that company comes up, then he has to disclose it.
Yes, sir. डिस्क्लोजर करना है और वो मीटिंग्स अटेंड नहीं करना है.
हाँ, ये रिकॉर्ड होगा प्रोसीडिंग्स में.
Yes.
हाँ जी, he shall not take. Now managing director.
An information utility shall, subject to the guidelines issued by the board from time to time, determine the qualification and experience, manner of appointment, terms and conditions of appointment, and other procedural formalities associated with the selection and appointment of the managing director, subject to the condition that an individual shall be selected as managing director through an open advertisement in all editions of at least one national daily newspaper.
तो एक
And
नेशनल डेली न्यूज़पेपर के जितने भी एडिशंस होते हैं, सिटी वाइज एडिशंस निकलते हैं,
हाँ
तो
सर.
सारे एडिशंस में जो है ये ओपन एडवर्टाइजमेंट होगा.
An individual at the time joining as managing director shall not be above the age of 55 years, which may be relaxed by the governing board up to 60 years after recording reasons thereof. And an individual shall not serve as managing director after he has attained the age of 65 years. The appointment of an individual as the managing director shall be for a tenure of not less than 3 years, but not exceeding 5 years. An individual may serve as managing director for a maximum of 2 terms. The process of appointment for second term as managing director shall be conducted afresh.
तो
The
एक
appoint
मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, सेकंड टाइम उसका अपॉइंटमेंट ऐसा नहीं कि ऑटोमेटिक रिन्यूअल हो जाएगा
yes.
उसका,
नहीं फिर से
फिर दोबारा सब कुछ होगा.
The appointment and remuneration payable to the managing director shall be approved by a compensation committee constituted by the board. The appointment, renewal of appointment, and termination of service of the managing director shall be subject to prior approval of the board. The managing director shall be liable for removal or termination of services by the governing board with the prior approval of the board for failure to give effect to the directions, guidelines, and other orders issued by the governing board or the rules, the articles of association or bylaws of the information utility, or on the ground of misconduct or incapacity to continue in office. The board may suo motu remove or terminate the services of the managing director if it deems fit in the interest of stakeholders of the insolvency resolution process or in the public interest after giving a reasonable opportunity of being heard. 9B, compliance. Every information utility registered on the date of commencement of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India Information Utilities Second Amendment Regulations 2018 shall comply with Regulations 9 and 9A within 1 year from the date of such commencement.
10.
Regulatory committee.
तो यहाँ क्या है, ये कमेटी बना रहे, रेगुलेटरी कमेटी.
Yes.
चलिए.
An information utility may constitute a regulatory committee from amongst the independent directors. The regulatory committee, if constituted, shall oversee the information utilities compliance with the code. The compliance officer shall report to the regulatory committee wherever constituted. Compliance officer. An information utility shall designate or appoint a compliance officer who shall be responsible for ensuring compliance with the provisions of the code applicable to the information utility in letter and spirit. The compliance officer shall immediately and independently report to the board any non-compliance of any provision of the code observed by him. The compliance officer shall submit a compliance certificate to the board annually, verifying that the information utility has complied with the requirements of the code and has redressed customer grievances. The governing board shall appoint or remove a compliance officer only by means of a resolution passed at its meeting. Grievance redressal policy. An information utility shall have a grievance redressal policy to deal with any grievance from any user or any other person or class of persons as may be provided by the governing board in respect of its services. The grievance redressal policy shall provide for the constitution of a grievance redressal committee, the functions of the grievance redressal committee, the format and manner for filing grievances.
Yes.
Maximum time and format for acknowledging receipt of a grievance. Maximum time for the disposal of the grievance by way of dismissal, resolution, or the initiation of mediation. Details of the mediation mechanism. Provision of a report of the grievance and mediation proceedings to the parties to the grievance upon dismissal or resolution of the grievance. Action to be taken in case of malicious or false complaints. Maintenance of a register of grievances received and resolutions arrived at. Disclosure of receipt and disposal of grievances to the public in the form and manner directed by the board. Periodic reporting of the receipt and disposal of grievances to the governing board. And periodic review of the grievance redressal mechanism by the governing board.
Yes.
Technical standards and bylaws. Technical standards. The board may lay down technical standards through guidelines for the performance of core services and other services under these regulations. Without prejudice to the generality of sub-regulation, the board may lay down technical standards for all or any of the following matters, namely, the application programming interface, standard terms of service, registration of users, unique identifier for each record and each user, submission of information,
Yes.
identification and verification of persons, authentication of information, verification of information, data integrity, consent framework for providing access to information to third parties, security of the system, security of information, risk management framework, porting of information, exchange or transfer of information between information utilities, interoperability among information utilities, preservation of information, and purging of information. Technical committee. The board shall lay down the technical standards based on the recommendations of a technical committee constituted by it. The technical committee shall comprise of at least 3 members who have special knowledge and experience in the field of law, finance, economics, information technology, or data management. The board may invite the chief executive officers or managing directors of information utilities to attend the meetings of the technical committee.
So they may ask a question that the technical committee shall comprise of at least 3 members, 5 members, 4 members. So they may ask.
Yes, sir.
bylaws.
Bylaws of information utilities.
Hmm.
An information utility for the conduct of its operations shall have bylaws consistent with the code.
Hmm. Right.
The bylaws shall be consistent contained in the technical standards, if any. Without the bylaws shall be consistent with and provide for all matters contained in the technical standards, if any.
Hmm.
Without prejudice to the generality of sub-regulation 1, the bylaws shall provide for the manner and process of providing core services and other services under these regulations,
Hmm.
risk management, minimum service quality standards, including timelines for registration of users, issuance of record of default, and issuance of annual statement to registered users,
Hmm.
adoption of quality standards and quality standards certifications, rights of users, and grievance redressal. The bylaws of the information utility, as amended from time to time, shall be published on its website.
Hmm.
Amendment to bylaws.
Hmm.
The governing board may amend the bylaws of the information utility by a resolution passed by votes in favor being not less than 3 times the number of the votes, if any, cast against the resolution by the directors.
Hmm.
ये important point है सर.
Hmm.
Suppose 30 votes against में आए
और
तो
ये
90
वाला
votes favor में
जो
आए.
अमेंडमेंट ऑफ बायलॉज है,
हम्म.
अमेंडमेंट टू बायलॉज ऑफ आईयू एंड अमेंडमेंट टू बायलॉज ऑफ आईपीए बिल्कुल सेम है, डिटो.
हाँ सर. A resolution passed in accordance with the sub-regulation 1 shall be filed with the board within 7 days from the date of its passing for its approval. The amendments to the bylaws shall come into effect on the 7th day of the receipt of the approval under sub-regulation 2 unless otherwise directed by the board. The information utility shall file a printed copy of the amended bylaws with the board within 15 days from the date when such amendment is made effective. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in this regulation, the board may direct an information utility to amend any provision in its bylaws.
ये भी important point है.
Yes, sir.
Now core services.
Core services, provision of services. An information utility shall provide core services, other services under these regulations in accordance with the code. An information utility may provide services incidental to the services under sub-regulation 1 with the permission of the board. An
देखो, अगर
information
कोई इंसिडेंटल सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करनी है ना तो उसके लिए परमिशन लेना पड़ेगा बोर्ड का.
हाँ जी. An information utility shall comply with the applicable technical standards while providing services. Registration of users. A person shall register itself with an information utility for submitting information to or accessing information stored with any of the information utilities.
तो दोनों के लिए रजिस्टर करना है, सबमिशन के लिए भी और एक्सेसिंग के लिए भी.
Yes, sir. The information utility shall verify the identity of the person under sub-regulation and grant registration. Upon registration of a person under sub-regulation 2, the information utility shall intimate it of its unique identifier.
एक नंबर दे देंगे उसको, आइडेंटिफायर नंबर दे देंगे.
Yes, sir. A person registered once with an information utility shall not register itself with any information utility again. An information utility shall provide a registered user a functionality to enable its authorized representatives to carry on the activities in sub-regulation 1 on its behalf. An information utility shall.
ऐसा है ना, पता क्या, मान लीजिए कंपनी है भाई, कंपनी भी तो रजिस्टर कर सकती है ना. अब कंपनी में तो फिर ऑथराइज रिप्रेजेंटेटिव भी करेगा ना उसको.
Yes, sir.
ये.
An information utility shall maintain a list of registered users, unique identifiers of the registered users, and the unique identifiers assigned to the dates under Regulation 20. Make the list under Class A available to all information utilities and the board. Use of different information utilities. A registered user may submit information to any information utility. Different parties to the same transaction may use different information utilities to submit or access information in respect of the same transaction. Illustration. A debt transaction has creditor A and debtor B. A may submit information about the debt to information utility X, while B may submit information about the same debt to information utility Y. A user may access information stored with an information utility through any information utility. An information utility shall accept information submitted by a user in Form C of the schedule.
हाँ, तो ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है कि इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी shall accept information submitted by user in Form C.
Form C. Before filing an application to initiate corporate
त्रिशा सूद जी,
insolvency.
आप पढ़ लीजिए. त्रिशा सूद जी, कैन यू रीड? ओके, रूप किरण जी, प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
Sir, 1 minute.
यस यस.
Information. So we are on acceptance and receipt of information.
रेगुलेशन नंबर
उससे
20.
पहले वाला.
Regulation number 20. An
हाँ.
information utility may accept information submitted by a user in Form C of the schedule. Before filing application to initiate corporate insolvency resolution process under Section 7 or 9 as the case may be, the creditor shall file information of default with information utility and information utility shall process the information for the purpose of issuing record of default in accordance with Regulation 21.
ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जब भी आप एप्लीकेशन फाइल करोगे सेक्शन 7 या सेक्शन 9 वाली,
Information.
ठीक है ना, तो क्रेडिटर क्या करेगा? क्रेडिटर जो है, he shall file the information of default with the information utility and they shall process and they shall issue a record of default. फॉर्म डी के अंदर रिकॉर्ड ऑफ डिफॉल्ट इशू करता है ये.
On receipt of information submitted under subregulation 1 or subregulation 1A, as the case may be, information utility shall assign a unique identifier to the information, including record of debt, acknowledge its receipt, and notify the user of the unique identifier of the information. The terms and condition of authentication and verification of information, manner in which information may be accessed by the other parties.
Next is authentication of default. Regulation 21.
Regulation 21. Information utility shall expeditiously undertake the process of authentication and verification of information of default as soon as it is received. For the purpose of subregulation 1, information utility shall deliver the information of default to the debtor seeking confirmation of the same within the time specified in the technical standard.
देखो
Remind the
पहले जो
debtor
है, जो डिफॉल्ट हो गया उससे डेटर से पूछेंगे कि भाई आप बताओ डिफॉल्ट हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ. यस.
remind the debtor at least 3 times for confirmation of information of the default. In case debtor doesn't respond, allow 3 days each time for the debtor to respond. Deliver the information of default or reminder as the case may be to the debtor either by hand, post or electronic means at the postal or the email address of the debtor. Registered with information utility by him, failing which recorded with MCA 21 and Central Registry of Securitization, Asset Reconstruction and Security Interest of India. Registry as repository or any other statutory repository as approved by the board, failing which submitted in Form C of the schedule. On completion of the process under subregulation 2, information utility shall record the status of authentication of information of default as indicated in following tables.
इस तरह से
So,
होगा.
table 1 is debtor confirms the information of default, status of authentication authenticated, color green. Debtor dispute the information of default, status is disputed, color red. Debtor doesn't respond after 3 reminders, deemed to be authenticated, and yellow status. Provided that in case of the financial creditor, which are banks included in the second schedule of the Reserve Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, information utilities will record the status of authentication of information of default as indicated in the table 2 below. In
इस
case of
केस
the
में क्या है कि यहाँ येलो नहीं होगा, है ना?
in case
अगर
financial creditor who are bank included in the second schedule,
अगर
debtor
कंफर्म कर दिया तो ग्रीन हो जाएगा, 3 रिमाइंडर दे दिए, नहीं कंफर्म किया तो भी ग्रीन हो जाएगा। किस केस में? विच आर
if it was
बैंक्स, कौन से? विच आर इंक्लूडेड इन सेकंड शेड्यूल। क्योंकि क्या है, सबसे पहले क्रेडिटर इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है, ठीक है? क्रेडिटर ने इंफॉर्मेशन दिया इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी को कि डिफॉल्ट हो गया बिफोर फाइलिंग एन एप्लीकेशन अंडर सेक्शन 7 और 9, ठीक है? अब डेटर से पूछना है, डेटर से पूछेंगे, डेटर ने अगर कंफर्म कर दिया ग्रीन, डेटर ने डिनाई कर दिया रेड, और डेटर ने कुछ बोला ही नहीं 3 रिमाइंडर्स तक तो येलो। लेकिन अगर बैंक फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर है, ठीक है, तो उस केस में क्या होगा? अगर 3 रिमाइंडर हुए और डेटर ने फिर भी कुछ नहीं बोला तो भी ग्रीन मान लिया जाएगा। चलिए,
After recording the status of information of default under subsection 3, the information utility should communicate the status of authentication in physical or electronic form of the relevant color as indicated in the column 4 of the table 1 or 2 as the case may be, by issuing a record of default in the form D of the schedule to the registered user who are creditor of the debtor who has defaulted in the payment of the debt, parties and sureties if any of the debt, party and surety if any to the debt in respect of which information of default has been received.
तो फॉर्म डी इशू कर देंगे। फॉर्म डी मतलब रिकॉर्ड ऑफ डिफॉल्ट,
Record of
और यही
default.
फिर फॉर्म डी वो एप्लीकेशन के साथ लगा देगा।
हम्म,
अब जो एक बार फॉर्म डी लगा दिया ना, तो उसके बाद फिर फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर डिस्प्यूट नहीं कर सकता उस चीज को वहां पर कि मैंने तो डेट लिया ही नहीं।
और ये फिजिकल और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक
कॉर्पोरेट,
फॉर्म
हाँ
में
जी।
हो सकता है. Dissemination of public announcement. Information utility shall disseminate every public announcement it receives or has access to on the date of receipt or access as the case may be to registered user who are creditor of the CD undergoing insolvency proceeding under the code.
तो यहाँ देखिए क्या है, जो भी पब्लिक अनाउंसमेंट होगी,
वो इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी भी अपने लैंड से इन्फॉर्म करेगा.
हाँ, वो जो भी उसके रजिस्टर्ड यूजर है ना?
ऑल द
भाई मान
रजिस्टर्ड.
लीजिए एक XYZ की पब्लिक अनाउंसमेंट हुई, ठीक है? तो जो भी XYZ के क्रेडिटर्स हैं जो रजिस्टर्ड हैं, भाई इसको, ये तो अपने रजिस्टर्ड यूजर को ही भेज सकता है, सबको तो भेज नहीं सकता इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी। जो इसके पास रजिस्टर्ड है वही पता है ना इसको तो क्रेडिटर है। तो जो भी इसके रजिस्टर्ड यूजर हैं, जो उस क्रेडिटर के, जो उस कंपनी के क्रेडिटर हैं जो कि CIRP में गई है, पब्लिक अनाउंसमेंट हुआ है तो, ठीक है, तो उनको भेज दें।
Storage of information. An information utility shall store all the information in the facility located in India. The facility under sub-regulation 1 shall be governed by the laws of India.
तो इसका जो सर्वर है वो इंडिया में लोकेटेड होना चाहिए, स्टोरेज वाला, स्टोरेज बाहर नहीं हो सकते। चलिए,
Access to the information. Information utility shall allow following person to access the information stored with it. The user who which has submitted the information, all the parties to the debt and the host bank, if any, if the information is of category in section 313A, C and D.
हाँ, तो हमने सेक्शन 3 सब सेक्शन 13 पढ़ा था ना, फाइनेंशियल डेट वाला।
Financial information.
हाँ, फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन वाला, हाँ,
All the
तो ये
parties.
उसी से पर्टेन कर रहा है ये।
The corporate person and its auditor if the information is of the category in the section 313B and E.
हाँ, तो बी में है रिकॉर्ड ऑफ लाइबिलिटीज और ई में रिकॉर्ड ऑफ बैलेंस शीट एंड कैश फ्लो स्टेट, ठीक है ना? तो उस वो ये वाली जो बैलेंस शीट वाली इंफॉर्मेशन है सबको नहीं देगा ये, जो बैलेंस शीट की या कैश फ्लो की इंफॉर्मेशन है, या फिर ये जो रिकॉर्ड ऑफ लाइबिलिटीज है किसको देगा? कॉर्पोरेट पर्सन और ऑडिटर को, ठीक है? और जो A, C और D वाली इंफॉर्मेशन है, ये जो भी पार्टीज ऑफ द डेट एंड द होस्ट बैंक इफ एनी। यस,
The insolvency professional to the extent provided in the code,
हाँ
the adjudicating authority, the board, any person authorized to access information under any other law, and any other person whom the person referred to in A, B, or C have consented to share the information with. So A, B, C user हो गया या फिर all the parties. Then information utility shall in all cases enable the user to view the date the information was last updated, the status of authentication and status of verification while providing access to information.
तो उसको नजर आएगा कि भाई ये लास्ट अपडेटेड कब तक की इंफॉर्मेशन है, और ऑथेंटिकेशन का क्या स्टेटस है, रेड है, येलो है, ग्रीन है, क्या है, और स्टेटस ऑफ वेरिफिकेशन। यस।
The information utility shall provide information to adjudicating authority and the board free of charge.
हाँ, तो देखो बाकी जो यूजर्स हैं उनसे पैसे लेगा, लेकिन एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी और बोर्ड से पैसे नहीं लेगा।
Accessing information stored with other information utility. An information utility shall provide functionality to enable users to access information stored with any information utility which they are entitled to access. The functionality under subregulation 1 shall enable other information utility to provide access to information to user directly. The functionality shall ensure privacy and confidentiality of the information. Annual statement. Information utility shall provide every user an annual statement of information pertaining to user free of charge. An information utility shall provide the user functionality to mark information as erroneous and corrected.
तो ये भी है।
Porting the information from registries. Information utility may import information from such registries as may be notified by the board from time to time. An information utility shall render the core services under section 3(9)(b), C, D in accordance with
हमने
these
3(9) भी पढ़ लिया था, है ना, कोर सर्विसेज।
It shall render the core services under section 3(b), C, D in accordance with these regulations for information imported under sub-regulation 1. Duties of the user. A user who has submitted information in Form C of the schedule to information utility shall submit the information updated as on the last day of every month in the first week of the following month. Updated as on the last day of every month in the first week of the following month.
मतलब ये है कि डे टू डे नहीं देनी है आपको। देखो मंथली बेसिस पर जो भी मान लो कोई अमाउंट ड्यू बताना चाह रहा है वो, ठीक है, जैसे मान लो अप्रैल मंथ है, अप्रैल मंथ में हो सकता है उसने 4 पेमेंट की हो या 4 सप्लाईज की हो, ठीक है।
Within
तो
first week
डेली
of-
डेली में नहीं बताना उसको, जो भी लास्ट डे की इंफॉर्मेशन है वो बतानी है फर्स्ट वीक में ऑफ द फॉलोइंग मंथ।
provided
मान
the
लो
information.
एक आदमी जो है वो सप्लाईज करता जा रहा है रेगुलर, है ना, या लोन लेता जा रहा है या रीपेमेंट करता जा रहा है, तो इन्फॉर्मेशन मंथली बेसिस पे उसकी आ जाएगी। तो जो भी जैसे मान लो अप्रैल मंथ में उसने 4 सप्लाई की 5-5 लाख रुपए की, तो वो बता देगा भाई 20 लाख रुपए मैंने सप्लाई किया अप्रैल में, और फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ मई में बता देगा ये है।
Provided the information of default shall be updated within 7 days of occurrence of default.
हाँ, लेकिन अगर डिफॉल्ट का केस है तो फिर विद इन 7 डेज ऑफ अकरेंस बताना है।
A user shall expeditiously correct information as soon as it find it erroneous, stating the reasons if any. Duties of information utilities. General duties. An information utility shall provide services with due and reasonable care, skill and diligence. Information utility shall hold the information as a custodian. Non-discrimination. Information utility shall provide services without
क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है, एन इन्फॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी शैल होल्ड द इन्फॉर्मेशन एज ए
custodian.
कस्टोडियन, एज एन एजेंट, है ना, इस तरह से।
Information utility shall provide services without discrimination in any manner. Explanation. Information utility shall not deny its services to any person on the basis of place of residence or business or type of personality, whether natural or artificial. Other duties. Information utility shall provide services to user based on the explicit consent. Guarantee protection of rights of the user. Establish adequate procedures and facilities to ensure that its records are protected against loss or destruction. Adopt secure systems for information flow. Protect the data processing system against unauthorized access, alteration, destruction, disclosure, dissemination of information. Transfer all the information submitted by a user and stored with it to another information utility on a request of user. Information utility shall not outsource the provision of the core services to the third party service provider.
ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जो इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी है ये आउटसोर्स नहीं कर सकती जो कोर सर्विसेज है टू ए थर्ड पार्टी सर्विस प्रोवाइडर, अपने आप ही काम करना पड़ेगा इसको, ये
The
मतलब
use
इन
of
हाउस स्टाफ रख के करेंगे ये.
the use of information stored with it for any purpose other than providing services under this regulation without prior approval of the board. Seek data or details of the user except as required for provision of services under these regulation. Seek data.
मतलब ये है कि ऐसा कोई ऐसा यूजर्स का
External.
डेटा नहीं मांग सकती. वो कौन सा डेटा मांग सकती है? जो कि रिक्वायर्ड है फॉर प्रोविजन ऑफ सर्विसेज. ऐसे नहीं कुछ भी डिटेल मांग ले यूजर से.
Insurance information utility shall make adequate arrangement including insurance for indemnifying the user for losses that may have caused to them by any wrongful act, negligence or default of information utility, its employees or any person whose services are used for provision of services under these regulations. Fees. The information utility shall charge uniform fees for providing the same services to the different users. Disclose the fee structure for provision of services on the website and disclose any proposed increase in the fees for provision of services on the website at least 3 months before increase of the fees is effected.
तो अगर चेंज करना है तो कम से कम 3 months का प्रायर नोटिफिकेशन देना पड़ेगा.
The fees charged for providing services shall be a reasonable reflection of the services provided.
And
Providing access to information shall not exceed the fee charged for submission of information to information utility.
हाँ, तो 2 तरह की फीस है. फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग एक्सेस टू इंफॉर्मेशन, फॉर सबमिशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. तो ये इफ दे आर चार्जिंग ए फीस फॉर सबमिशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, मान लीजिए 100 रुपीज ले रहे हैं फॉर सबमिशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, तो अगर इफ दे वांट टू प्रोवाइड एक्सेस तो उसके लिए भी 100 से ज्यादा नहीं ले सकते.
Shall not exceed.
इसका मतलब ये है कि सबमिशन वाली ज्यादा हो सकती है लेकिन एक्सेस वाली उससे ज्यादा नहीं हो सकती.
Risk management. Information utility shall establish an appropriate risk management framework in accordance with technical standard, if any, which provides for matters including a reliable, recoverable and secure system.
भाई कोई सिस्टम हैक हो गया है ना, क्योंकि इसमें सारी इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन है. मान लो सिस्टम इनका कोई हैक कर लिया तो उसके लिए क्या रिस्क मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम क्या है?
Reliable, recoverable, secure system, provisions of core service during disaster and emergencies, business continuity plan which shall include disaster recovery sites.
भाई जहाँ सर्वर इनके हैं, मान लो वहाँ फ्लड आ गया, कुछ हो गया है ना, अर्थक्वेक आ गया, पूरी बिल्डिंग ही डिस्ट्रॉय हो गई, तो उसके लिए क्या प्लान है? बिजनेस कंटिन्यूटी प्लान्स क्या है?
Audit of information technology framework. Information utility shall appoint an external auditor having relevant qualification to audit its information technology framework, interface and data processing system every year. The auditor appointed under subregulation shall submit a report to governing board. The information utility shall submit the report received under subregulation 2 along with comments of governing body, if any, to the board within 1 month from the receipt of the report from the external auditor. Preservation policy. Information utility shall have preservation policy providing for the form, manner, and duration of preservation of information stored with it, and detail of transaction of information with each user in respect of information stored with it. The preservation policy shall be consistent with technical standards, if any. सर ये पॉलिसी कुछ अलग है मतलब
क्या
मतलब प्रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी एक हो गई, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट एक हो गया, टेक्निकल स्टैंडर्ड एक।
हाँ सारे अलग देने, हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल भाई। प्रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी मतलब ऐसा है ना कि कितने साल का रिकॉर्ड रखना है, 8 साल, 10 साल, 20 साल, ये
उसकी एक पॉलिसी बनानी पड़ेगी,
उसकी पॉलिसी बनाएंगे ना।
डिटेल ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन विद प्रोविजन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन टू द बोर्ड। Information utility shall provide such information as may be required by the board without prejudice to the provisions of sub-regulation 1. Information utility shall provide a report to the board annually in the manner directed by the board, stating
तो एक तो ये है कि जो इन्फॉर्मेशन बोर्ड मांगेगा देनी है, उससे फीस नहीं चार्ज करनी बोर्ड से, ना ही एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी से कोई फीस चार्ज करनी है, और एक एनुअल रिपोर्ट देनी है। उसमें क्या रहेगा, ये रहेगा
stating the number and the type of records collected, number and the type of user registered, number and type of unique debt recorded, number and type of
आप पढ़ लो रूप किरण जी प्लीज।
security interest provided.
हाँ सर, मैं पढ़ूंगा सर।
यस प्लीज।
Number and types of security interest recorded, volume of debts recorded, volume of secured debts recorded, number of instances and types of defaults recorded, number and types of disputes recorded, number of times information was accessed by the adjudicating authority and board, and any other information as may be directed by the board. 36A. Publication of statistical information. An information utility shall publish statistics relating to debt-related information in its possession quarterly. The statistics in sub-regulation 1 shall provide distribution of debts in terms of currency, geography, sector, size, tenor, type, lending arrangement, and incidence of default. Inspection. Without prejudice to the provisions of sections 217 to 220, the board shall inspect an information utility with such periodicity as may be considered necessary. तो इसमें ईयरली होगा सर
किसका
इंस्पेक्शन?
नहीं, इंस्पेक्शन के लिए तो फिर इंस्पेक्शन एंड इन्वेस्टिगेशन रेगुलेशंस है ना हमारे पास, सेक्शन 217 टू 220 पढ़ेंगे, उसमें पूरा है।
उसमें ईयरली है उसमें। An information utility shall extend all assistance and cooperation to the board to carry out an inspection under sub-regulation 1. Services to insolvency professionals. 38. Storing information submitted by insolvency professionals. An insolvency professional may submit reports, registers, and minutes in respect of any insolvency resolution, liquidation, or bankruptcy proceedings to an information utility for storage.
क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो प्रिजर्वेशन ऑफ रिकॉर्ड्स वाले में अगर हम देखते हैं ना आईपी में, तो वो कहाँ रखेगा, वो अपने ऑफिस में तो रखेगा नहीं, है ना। मान लीजिए कंप्लीट हो गया, वो क्या करता है, इनके पास रखवा देता है, इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी के पास, और इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी ने भी एक अरेंजमेंट किया हुआ है, तो वो चार्ज करते हैं फीस, 10,000 रुपीज इस टाइप से कुछ फीस चार्ज करते हैं, तो वो रिकॉर्ड रखते हैं फिर।
वो जो 3 years 8 years का है,
वही
वो लोग रखते हैं। The information utility shall provide access to the reports, registers, and minutes submitted under sub-regulation 1 to any person other than the concerned insolvency professional, the board, or the adjudicating authority. The information utility shall discharge the duties specified in Chapter 6 in respect of the reports, registers, and minutes submitted under sub-regulation 1. surrender or cancellation of registration, exit management plan. An information utility shall at all times have an exit management plan which shall include mechanisms to enable users to transfer information to other information utilities expeditiously, mechanisms for preservation and transfer of information, and timelines and cost estimates of implementing the exit management plan. An information utility shall not amend its exit management plan without the prior approval of the board. Surrender of registration. An information utility may submit an
तो इसके लिए
application.
अगर आपको एग्जिट मैनेजमेंट प्लान कोई आपको अमेंड करना है तो प्रायर अप्रूवल ऑफ बोर्ड चाहिए.
बोर्ड से लेना है. An information utility may submit an application for surrender of its certificate of registration to the board, providing the reasons for such surrender, details of its pending and ongoing activities, and details of how the exit management plan shall be implemented. The board shall, within 7 days of receipt of the application, publish a notice of receipt of such application on its website and invite objections to the surrender of registration to be submitted within 14 days of the publication of the notice.
तो ये जो
After-
है अगर कोई इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन सरेंडर करना चाहती है तो वो नोटिस देगा कहाँ पर, अपनी वेबसाइट पर, पब्लिक उसमें न्यूज़पेपर में नहीं है ये नोटिस, बोर्ड अपनी वेबसाइट पर पब्लिश करेगा.
Yes, sir. After considering the application and the objections received, if any, the board may, within 30 days from the last date for submission of objections, approve the application for surrender of registration subject to such conditions as it deems fit. The approval under sub-regulation 3 may require the information utility to discharge any pending obligations or continue such functions till such time as may be directed. The board, after being satisfied that the requirements of sub-regulation 4 have been complied with, shall publish a notice on its website stating that the surrender of registration by the information utility has taken effect.
ठीक है, तो सरेंडर वाला नोटिस भी और ये बाद में भी कि इट हैज टेकन इफेक्ट, ये दोनों चीजें अपनी वेबसाइट पर देगा ये.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. बोर्ड 41.
Disciplinary proceedings. Based on the findings of an inspection or investigation or on material otherwise available on record, if the board is of the prima facie opinion that sufficient cause exists to take actions permissible under section 220, it shall issue a show cause notice to the information utility.
अब ये देखो, ये जो सेक्शन 220 वाला नोटिस है ये आईयू को भी हो सकता है, आईपी को भी हो सकता है, आईपीए को भी हो सकता है, आईपीई को भी हो सकता है.
हाँ सर.
पहले क्या था, अलग अलग रेगुलेशंस थे. अब इन्होंने क्या किया, जो इंस्पेक्शन इन्वेस्टिगेशन रेगुलेशंस है ना, सबको क्लब कर दिया.
अच्छा है.
क्योंकि सभी के अगेंस्ट में एक्शन ले सकता है बोर्ड. बोर्ड तो
हाँ।
सभी को रेगुलेट कर रहा है.
हाँ जी.
आईपी को भी रेगुलेट कर रहा है, आईपीई को भी रेगुलेट कर रहा है, आईपीए को भी रेगुलेट कर रहा है और आईयू को भी रेगुलेट कर रहा है. तो इन सबके लिए उन्होंने एक ही रेगुलेशंस बना दी, इंस्पेक्शन एंड इन्वेस्टिगेशन रेगुलेशंस. पहले अलग अलग थे.
The
Yes.
show cause notice shall be in writing and shall state the provisions of the code under which it has been issued, the details of the alleged facts, the details of the evidence in support of the alleged facts, the provisions of the code allegedly violated, or the manner in which the public interest has allegedly been affected. The actions or directions that the board proposes to take or issue if the allegations are established. The manner in which the information utility is required to respond to the show cause notice. Consequences of failure to respond to the show cause notice within the given time, and procedure to be followed for disposal of the show cause notice. The show cause notice shall enclose copies of relevant documents and extracts of relevant portions from the report of investigation or inspection or other records.
तो जो शोकॉज नोटिस इशू होगा उसमें ये सब रहेगा.
A show cause notice issued shall be served on the information utility in the following manner. By sending it to the information utility at its registered office by registered post with acknowledgement due, and by an appropriate electronic means to the email address provided by the information utility to the board. The disciplinary committee shall dispose of the show cause notice by a reasoned order in adherence to principles of natural justice. The disciplinary committee shall endeavor to dispose of the show cause notice within a period of 6 months of the issue of the show cause notice. The order and disposal of a show cause notice may provide for no action, warning, any of the actions under section 220, subsection 2 to subsection 4, or a reference to the board to take any action under section 220, subsection 5. The disciplinary proceedings shall be conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India Inspection and Investigation Regulations 2017. The order passed under subregulation 7 shall be issued to the information utility immediately and be published on the website of the board. If the order under subregulation 7 suspends or cancels the registration of the information utility, the disciplinary committee may require the information utility to discharge pending obligations, continue its functions till such time as may be directed only to enable users to transfer information stored with it to another information utility and comply with any other directions. Appeal. An appeal may be preferred under section 211 within a period of 30 days of receipt of the order in the manner prescribed in part 3 of the NCLAT rules 2016.
तो 30 days अपील पीरियड है, एनक्लेट को अपील करना, ये है। फिर हमारे
फॉर्म ए
फॉर्म्स है ना, फॉर्म ए, फॉर्म बी, फॉर्म सी, फॉर्म डी। अब एक बार ये है, एक बार सेक्शन 215 है, बस वो लास्ट सेक्शन और पढ़ लेते हैं एक बारी।
हाँ सर, ठीक है सर।
मेरे हिसाब से सेक्शन 215 होना चाहिए, देख लेता हूँ एक बारी, जिसमें क्रेडिटर या डेटर को इन्फॉर्मेशन देनी है ना। 215 है शायद, जहां तक मेरे को आइडिया है, देख लेता हूँ एक बार क्या सेक्शन था वो। ये
214 में सर ऑब्लिगेशंस ऑफ आयु।
हाँ
214। 213 में कोर्ट सर्विसेज।
215 भी है, 216 भी है।
अच्छा,
तो 215 पढ़ लीजिए, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट 215 है।
निकाल रहा हूँ सर। 215 procedure for submission etc. of financial information. Any person who intends to submit financial information to the information utility or access the information under the information utility shall pay such fee and submit information in such form and manner as may be specified by regulations. A financial creditor shall submit financial information and information relating to assets in relation to which any security interest has been created in such form and manner as may be specified by regulations. An operational creditor may submit financial information to the information utility in such form and manner as may be specified. Section 216. Rights and obligations of person submitting financial information.
अब ये देखिए जो 215 है ना, इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट क्या है इसमें, फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर में लिखा शैल सबमिट, तो फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर के लिए ऑब्लिगेटरी है।
हाँ सर।
और ऑपरेशनल क्रेडिटर के लिए मे वर्ड यूज,
मे सबमिट है। राइट्स एंड ऑब्लिगेशंस ऑफ पर्सन सबमिटिंग फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन,
इसका मतलब ये है कि इफ यू आर क्रिएटिंग एनी सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट देन यू हैव टू सबमिट फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन।
यस सर।
215 में इट इज ऑब्लिगेटरी ऑन द फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर, ठीक है।
यस सर।
नाउ 216.
So 216 rights and obligations of person submitting financial information. A person who intends to update or modify or rectify errors in the financial information submitted under section 215, he may make an application to the information utility for such purpose, stating reasons therefore in such manner and within such time as may be specified. A person who submits financial information to an information utility shall not provide such information to any other person except to such extent, under such circumstances, and in such manner as may be specified.
राइट. तो इतना जो है बेसिकली हमने एज इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटी से रिलेटेड कुछ रेगुलेशंस, कुछ प्रोविजंस देख लिए. नाउ इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास व्हाट वी विल डू इज वी विल स्टडी दिस चार्ट. दिस चार्ट आई हैव ऑलरेडी शेयर्ड विद यू. आई होप इट इज विजिबल ऑन योर स्क्रीन. है ना?
हाँ सर.
विजिबल है ना?
हाँ सर.
तो इसमें क्या है, एक कंपैरिजन है. जैसा अमेंडमेंट ऑफ बायलॉज है, अमेंडमेंट ऑफ बायलॉज तीनों का सेम ही है, चाहे आईपी ए का करना हो आपको या आईयू का करना हो. ठीक है. फिर हमने क्या किया, इसमें कंपैरिजन कर दिया. ऊपर ये आईयू इधर लिख दिया, ये आईपी और आईपीए हो गया इस तरह से. तो एक बार इन द मीन टाइम यू कैन स्टडी दिस चार्ट ऑन योर ओन एंड इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास वी विल स्टडी दिस चार्ट इन डिटेल.
Okay, sir.
And we have shared another file also in the group which outlines the various sections and regulations which we have already discussed. है ना भाई? सेक्शन 3 है, सेक्शन 18 है, वो सब हमने ऑलरेडी भी डिस्कस कर लिया है. ओके, थैंक यू सो मच. गुड नाइट.
Good night, sir.